first graders, happy Wednesday. You know, one of my favorite things to do in my free time is play board games. Today, I want to share with you one of my favorite games, Spot It. Maybe you've played this before, maybe you have it at your house, maybe you've seen it at a friend or a family member's house. I think that a lot of you would really enjoy playing it. Spot It has a round deck of cards, or a deck of round cards. And each card has a set of pictures on it. Now, the tricky part is each card has a different set of pictures on it. So I'm going to hold two up, and I want you to see if you can find the picture that is the same on both of these cards. Do you spot the picture that's the same? I'm looking too. Oh, I see it. There is a lightning bolt there and a lightning bolt over here. That's the only matching picture on these two cards. I'm going to keep this card out and lift up a new card. And now let's see if we can find the matching picture between these two cards. I see it. Do you see the moons on both cards? I'm going to put a few more examples up on the screen here, and I want you to see if you can find the matching picture between the two cards before I switch to the next set. If you like this activity, you can go on Seesaw and I'll have a spotted activity. You can circle or record your voice telling me about the pictures that you see matching on the cards. All right, after we play some Spot It, then we will go on to our note for the day. See you later, first graders. Dear first graders, today is Wednesday. Today we will keep practicing telling time. I hope you have been noticing clocks around your home and wherever you go. I challenge you to practice on those real clocks. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Love, Mrs. Baker. Remember to make corrections to this note on Seesaw if you are able. All right, first graders, we are getting a little bit tricky today with our math because we are not only talking about digital and analog clocks, but we are talking about time to the hour and the half hour. So you are going to have to pay very close attention to the number of minutes shown on each clock. At the bottom it says, a class went to the library at 1:30. Use the clocks to show the time. Find the analog and digital clocks in the picture. The clock on the wrist is the digital clock, and the clock on the wall is the analog clock. It says to show 1:30 on the analog clock, and then write 1:30 on the digital clock. So I've started by showing 1:30 on the analog clock. You can see my hour hand, that red hand there, is halfway between the 1 and the 2. And my minutes hand is pointing straight down at what number, first graders? The minute hand is pointing straight down to the 6. So that time says 1:30. Next we need to show 1:30 on the digital clock. So now I've added 1:30 on the digital clock. The hour is always on the left side and the minutes are always on the right side. So here you can see 1 is the hour and 30 is the number of minutes into that hour. When you look at the top of page 614, what do you notice about the 2 analog clocks? Where are the minute hands pointing on those 2 clocks? On the left clock, the minute hand is pointing straight up to the 12. We show that with 2 zeros on a digital clock. You can see that down below. It is 9 o'clock. On the right side, that analog clock has the minute hand pointing straight down to the 6. Now, those numbers show us 5 minutes each, so we can count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So that analog clock is showing us 9:30, and you can see that on the digital clock below that analog clock as well. 1 hour is 60 minutes, so 1/2 hour is 30 minutes. That's important to remember as you work on this, first graders. Down below, it says to use the clock to help. Draw the minute hand to show the time. Write the time on the digital clock. So if the time is 11:30, first graders, you can go ahead and write that exact time down on the digital clock below. That will not change. 11:30 is on the paper right next to the number 1, and that is what you will put on the digital clock. Now you need to put the minute hand on the analog clock. Now if it's 11:30, will that minute hand be pointing straight up to the 12 or straight down at the 6? I hope you said, or I hope you were thinking, straight down at the 6. And I have shown that on the analog clock for number 1 on my screen. You can go ahead and do number 2. Number 2 wants you to show 5:30. What does 5:30 mean, first graders? You're not able to just copy the time for this one, but I want you to write the time on the digital clock and draw in the minutes hand, pointing either straight up to the 12 or straight down to the 6. You are going to continue drawing the minute hand and writing the time on the digital clock for each of the problems on page 615. I will read the times for you. Number 3 says 3:30. Number 4 says 9 o'clock. Number 5, 1:30. Number 6, 8 o'clock. Number 7 says write 2:30 on the clock. Number 8 says write 6 o'clock on the clock. You are going to turn the page and find page 616. Number 9 at the top says the hour hand is between 1 and 2. The minute hand is on 6. What time is it? I'll read that again. You are going to draw the hands on the clock. The hour hand is between 1 and 2. The minute hand is on 6. Share with somebody what time you drew on that clock. Number 10 says the time on the clock is 1 hour after 2 o'clock. What time is it? Write the time. And it says to explain your answer to a friend, but you can explain your answer to anybody at home. Remember, you are going to use an addition sentence to solve this. At the bottom, it asks, how many minutes after the hour does the clock show? If it's pointing straight down at the 6 first graders, how many minutes does that stand for? Remember, each number around the clock is 5 minutes. So we're going to have to count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.